What's up guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a butterfly knife. Let's get started. First, draw out 4 rectangles. Each rectangle should be about 4 3/4 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. After you have that done, drill holes at each end of each rectangle. Next, to cut it out, I'm going to be using a jigsaw. Just a heads up, about halfway through the video I switched the handles from wood to metal, but you can use metal. It was a mistake on my part. I used too weak of wood, so just a heads up. Note that the wood is a 1/4 inch thick. Drill the pieces together, and right on the black line, about a little over a 1/2 inch down from the top, use a round file to kind of just at the sides, just kind of go at it so it makes a little divot on the side. Use a drill bit and the Dremel tool, but this is how it should look like. It should have little divots on the sides. Blade. This part is a little tricky, but I'll try to explain it as best as I can. Now it's going to be a 5-inch piece of 12 gauge steel, and make a 1-inch square and then put an X in between it just to mark the very center. And drill holes in the middle of each triangle that it makes. Alright, I completely butchered that explanation, so I'll try again. First, draw a 1-inch by 1-inch square, and then at each side go in 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch up, and then that's where you should drill your holes. Almost forgot, the part to the right of the square extends about 4 inches. And have the holes drilled, and these are just the pins and the pivot points. Sorry I forgot to record this, but right here where the 2 arrows are pointing are the nails. You should cut off the nails so there's about 2 millimeters sticking out, then use a ball peen hammer to peen the end of the nail, and then it'll mushroom out and making a rivet holding the limb in place. Use a cutoff wheel on an angle grinder to make a point on the blade. Make sure so that when the thing closes, the blade isn't sticking out the top. I still need to grind it down a little bit more, but it doesn't stick out the top. Build my freaking cock! Alright, I don't really know what happened, but file got corrupted. A bunch of files got corrupted. And those files are videos of me making the new handles. I just made these out of metal, some 12 gauge steel. Hold on, I actually have the steel right here. It's just some of this regular 12 gauge steel, not very, not very expensive. You can buy it at most hardware stores like Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. But yeah, I remade them out of metal because the wooden ones kept snapping right there. Weak points. I mean, if you made it out of plywood, it would probably be a little bit better, since mine was only birch. It just kept breaking. So I made it out of 12 gauge steel. Yeah. Put some rivets in with some regular nails on the very top. Cut it off about 2 millimeters. Use a ball peen hammer to peen the ends. Make a rivet on either side. Keep the handles in place. And then on the other side, I took some of the regular birch wood, since this doesn't need to be super strong. Just as a spacer, I put it in between and made some other rivets. But yeah. Also, where the limbs attached to the blade, you're probably gonna have to make your own rivets, because most rivets that are made with like that rivet gun thing with the 2 arms, I don't have one of those, but I didn't need one for this because those rivets, they go as tight as they possibly can, so that the limbs can pretty much never be able to move along with the blade when it's as tight as it possibly can. So you have to custom make your own rivets and kind of test it out while you're peening the ends of the rivets, peening the end of the nail, so that it'll move freely with it. I mean, nuts and bolts would probably work pretty well with this too. You have to get a pretty tight bolt though, like a locking bolt. What are those called? It's like the little O-rings on them? I don't know. But yeah, I didn't have any nuts and bolts like that. I really need to get some, but I don't have any right now, so I just had to make these rivets. I'm looking at what to make the pins out of, but it's super hard to find the right threading and the right size of the bolt to push through the holes, so I needed something that was like kind of like a pin, but it could expand while inside the hole. So I came up with this thing that expands while it's inside the hole. What it is, it's like a pen tube, but then you cut out, I don't know, cut down the line, cut down the center, cut down the center of the line, so there's like a millimeter of space between that, and then you just kind of like push it together, and then just put it, where's the thing, and you just kind of push it through the hole. Oh yes. Oh yes. Got it. And you just push it through the hole, and since it's plastic like that and it wants to keep its shape, when it's coiled up like that, it'll, you know, expand inside there. So now it works really well as pins, surprisingly. Once you paint it all black, it's not really gonna, well, that's what I'm gonna paint it. Once you paint it, it's gonna look fine. It's not gonna look like pen, or like when you round it out, it'll look fine. So, as of functionality, this butterfly knife is pretty much done. But I'm gonna work on the aesthetics. I'm changing up the blade a little bit, make it look kind of, I don't know, daggerish, orcish, I guess. With like these divots in the side. But as of functionality, it's pretty much done. Aesthetically, I'm gonna finish it more with some polishing, sandpaper, and painting. Rounding, I guess. Comfort. But as for just like a trainer, I guess it's pretty much done. But yeah, now as for fixing up the blade. I'm gonna cut on these lines. So this is the blade now. Looks kind of bonish and orcish. It's kind of weird, but it looks cool. I put this weird pattern all over the metal. Just using an abrasive wheel on the angle grinder, going up and down. Cut out these 4 scale handle pieces. They're just 1/4 inch birchwood, 3.5 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. Rough up the handles so that the glue will better hold onto it. I got all the handle scales clamped in, and the glue is drying. So I guess I'll come back when it's dried. Now the glue is dried and the handle scales are dried on there. Now I'm going to round it all out with a abrasive wheel on an angle grinder. Alright, so the handles are finished. I put them under the angle grinder and ground down all the wood so the scales are comfortable to hold. And now I'm going to spray them with clear spray-on enamel. I don't know if you can read it. Get a little closer. Crystal clear enamel for a protective glossy finish. that's pretty much it for this build. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.